I know the story I'm going to tell is going to sound similar to those you see in movies, but it truly happened to me. This event made me realize some fictional movies have more truth to them than we believe. I was 16, obsessed with the occult, scary movies, ghost hunting shows, unexplained footage, you name it, I was into it. My best friend shared my curiosity, and one afternoon, home alone after school, we decided to summon spirits for fun. We lit the candles, closed the windows, covered every crack where air could seep through, and began singing. At first, nothing happened, and we sat staring at the flames, doubting anything ever would. But then, the flames flickered. Not just swaying randomly but moving in a synchronized pattern around us. We checked again, no drafts, no open doors or windows. Yet the flames moved, answering our whispered questions. At first, we laughed it off, asking silly questions. Were we speaking to a man? Yes. Was he friendly? Yes. But just as our nervous giggles faded, the room grew still. The flames froze, and an uneasy silence settled over us. Then, the knocking started. Not a doorbell or a steady knock on the front door, but random, echoing knocks from all over the house. It grew louder, each thud reverberating through the walls, until it sounded like someone pounding with a bat. As the pounding escalated, we heard heavy footsteps stomping up the stairs. The sound was deafening. We panicked, quickly blew out the candles, and chanted a hurried closing prayer. When it was over, the house was silent. I searched every room, every floor, the basement, even the garage. No one was there. My parents confirmed they were still at work. Yet, when we played back the recording, faint screams echoed in the background, and the unmistakable sound of stomping up the stairs. That was the first, and the last, time I tried to communicate with spirits. Be careful who, or what, you call for, because you never know what might answer. Some stories are scarier than fiction because they're real. Imagine stepping into a home that seems ordinary on the outside but hides something sinister within its walls. This is the story of a young woman in her 20s who worked as a nanny for a seemingly normal family, only to discover she wasn't alone. When she first started working, everything seemed fine. But 2 months in, she began to feel an odd, unshakable discomfort whenever she passed the parents' bedroom. It was as if the room itself whispered a warning, "Do not enter." One afternoon, as the children napped, she heard footsteps above her in the parents' bedroom. Believing one of the kids had woken up, she checked their rooms, but both were sound asleep. Yet the footsteps continued, slow, deliberate, and unnervingly real. Curiosity turned to unease as she approached the stairs. The parents' bedroom door was still slightly ajar, and an intense, invisible force seemed to scream, "Don't come closer." She retreated, unnerved, but the footsteps persisted. When she finally confided in the mother about the footsteps, the truth spilled out. The family had endured months of unexplained events, 3 a.m. screams, phantom smells of rotten eggs, and beds that moved on their own. And then there was the unsettling figure of the man the mother swore she saw, only to discover he was never there. One day in the basement, while playing with the children and their black cat, she saw something that sent chills down her spine. A black, shadowy mass, dog-sized, darted behind the children and disappeared into the wall. The cat froze, confirming she wasn't imagining it. Terrified, she made an excuse to leave the basement with the kids. When she told the mother, her fears were met with understanding. The family had already experienced enough to know the house was no ordinary home. After weeks of silence, the mother revealed what had changed. A priest had blessed the house, filling it with the smoke of a sage stick until the fire alarms wailed. From that day forward, the house was quiet. Whatever haunted it had finally been driven out. Some houses are more than bricks and wood, they're vessels of the past, holding echoes of lives once lived, and sometimes, lives that refuse to move on. For this nanny, the house was no longer haunted, but the memory of her time there will haunt her forever. Chicopee, Massachusetts, a town with a quiet charm and a history buried beneath its cobblestone streets. But even the most sacred places can harbor sinister secrets. This is the story of a church, built in 1867, where the veil between our world and the unknown seemed dangerously thin. The first incident I can remember happened when I was just a child. The church had a peculiar aura, a feeling you couldn't quite name, but it crawled under your skin. One day, I was using the restroom near the front door. My friend waited outside, complaining that the door kept opening on its own. Before I could dismiss it, I heard my name whispered right next to me. I rushed to finish and checked outside. Nobody was there. But as we turned to leave, the door violently swung open, as if flung by an unseen hand. We ran, leaving our fear echoing in the empty hallway. This door had a reputation, opening and slamming on its own. Even the pastor joked about it, saying, "That's either God coming in or the devil going out." But behind his humor, we all sensed the unease. What force could manipulate such a sturdy door with no one around? Then there were the fire alarms, pulled without a trace of fingerprints. The fire department came time and again, finding no malfunctions. It was as if the building itself was playing games, teasing us with its unsettling presence. One night, during a missionary visit, I glanced at the sanctuary's exit door. In the crescent-shaped window above it, I saw a face, red and black, like something from a nightmare. It reminded me of Darth Maul, yet felt far more menacing. Could the rumors be true? Was the church built on an old burial ground? A friend, let's call her Jay, once saw a group of nuns walking through the sanctuary. Strange, because our church wasn't Catholic. She returned to check, but the sanctuary was empty. The nuns had vanished as if they were never there. The basement was a place of dread, with old rooms dug into the foundation. One day, my cousins ventured down and saw two small yellow eyes glowing in the darkness. The eyes blinked out, then reappeared, twice as large. That was enough to send them fleeing in terror. My mother had her own encounter. Alone in the sanctuary, she heard the unmistakable sound of someone running across the room. Yet when she looked, no one was there. The silence afterward was deafening. Years later, I returned to explore the abandoned building. Though I experienced nothing unusual, I found something odd, a heavy, dark wooden rifle stock. Why was it there? Its presence felt like a question I dared not answer. Today, the church stands empty, its echoes of the past sealed inside. Was it all the product of overactive imaginations, or did something truly haunt those sacred halls? Perhaps the answers lie buried beneath its foundations, or in the memories of those who dared to enter.